You know what? One of the things that I realize, a question that people ask all the time is, can a mother teach a son to be a man? I'm going to say, I know it's going to make a lot of women mad because I see moms all the time on Father's Day saying, hey, happy Father's Day to you. And, it kind of upsets me a little bit because I don't think a mother can teach, she can't be a father. She can show him how to lead by example. She can show him how to be responsible. She can show him how it looks to be a strong woman, but she cannot show him how to be a man or to be a father. So one of the things I did is I raised my boys to be excellent, but I made space for strong male mentors and coaches and spiritual fathers for them who can show them what masculinity looks like, because masculinity must be sold. It can't be told, right? And I think so many of us are walking around trying to tell our sons what it means to be a man when we need to put examples before them to show them that. And it means stepping aside and letting God be their father, and the male figures show them how to shape their manhood.
I think that is so wonderful because it's the truth. That used to be and is still one of my pet peeves.
Mine
Uh,
too.
that I'm so serious. Like the
I
whole
hate it.
Happy Father's Day to the woman is just so crazy. Like, and even to think that, this equality that we've been, striving for many years and different reasons, we've crossed it across, we've drawn it across too many lines.
Yeah.
Okay. This isn't one of the lines that we should have, taken it across and said, okay, we can be equal here too. We cannot. We cannot, y'all. We got some things we gotta
No.
let it go. I could not teach my son how to urinate the way his daddy
That
could.
that's right. You can't teach them that.
Do you hear me? Because
You
my son is
can't.
trying to figure out why my little baby, he will probably be so embarrassed. He's 23 today. He used to be like, Mama, why you don't have a tail in the front?
Oh, that's cute.
That is so fun.
That
I can't teach you what you
no.
gonna do with your front tail.
You cannot. And one of the things I believe that sometimes we do as women, right? Because I'm 5'8", and my sons are my oldest is 6'3", my middle son is 6'6", my second to oldest is 6. So, I had to be very stern with them sometimes. And so it's like, be quiet, don't say anything. I think we teach our sons sometimes how to be abused by women because in the presence of being their moms, we silence their voices. We don't give them the ability to speak up for themselves because we're trying so hard to be strong that we can't teach them how to be emotionally intelligent. And so they learn to be quiet. And so we get mad when we see women abusing our sons, but we taught them that. We taught them how to be silent when women get loud. We taught them how to shrink when women start crying. We taught them how not to use their voice, but to use their fist because, shut up, boy, boys are strong. And because of that, by not teaching them emotional intelligence, we put them in a position where they become punching bags for women who are just like us.
Agreed.
That is so good because Madonna, I knew I grew up, that children should be seen and not heard
That's
era,
right.
right? So I grew
Yeah,
up in that
absolutely.
era. Yeah. And so my mom, when she was raising us, single mom, my dad was in and out or whatever, but she had to be stronger. My mom was maybe only 5'2", maybe.
Yeah, I get that.
On a good day, she was maybe 5'2". So she had to project through her voice. You know what
That's
I'm
right.
saying? And so I grew up not learning how to express myself because my feelings were stunted as a kid.
Yeah.
And so I had to learn how to express myself. Like it wasn't something that was cultivated, but it had to be, I had to learn that on my own through trial and error. So when you said that, I
Absolutely.
was like, that is so good because, your son has a voice too.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes as moms, we silence it. As a matter of fact, I told you I'm in a hotel. I'm in Austin visiting my oldest son. I kept my grandbabies over the past week. Y'all, I'm old. I was tired. I was ready to bring those babies back.
You're in
And
Austin?
yeah, I'm in Austin. Where are you
I'm like
guys?
I'm like right down the street from you.
Yeah, we're at the Marriott downtown Austin. My son lives close to here, so I'm right here. Look, we have to do lunch.
Oh my God. I'm gonna talk to you after.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm in downtown Austin, and we were joking. The guy that I'm dating and we were with my son, and he was talking about when he got caught shoplifting, and he said to Mr. Policeman, "Please don't send me home with her. Arrest me, put me in jail," because I was so strict at that time. And, we laugh about those things, right? But I think that's where dysfunction starts. And
Yeah.
so even though we laughed and he laughs about it and he's a beautiful, nurturing father and husband, some of the things that I taught him, I can't undo.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And he has to, and but you know what, and that's the reality of us all is we all have to learn how to grow up and undo, unsee, and unlearn. We do.
That's right. We
But
do.
I think to your point too, that's the reality that some people don't recognize when we talk about, because what I was listening as I'm hearing you, I'm listening to the fact that God gave us authority.
Yes.
What that authority looks like from the standpoint of a woman looks different from the standpoint of a man. And what we are trying to capture is, as a woman who's single, we're trying to capture and now trying to create the look of what authority look like from a
That's
man,
right.
but through the lens of a woman.
That's
This
right.
is innately in me, right? Not the man's version. The man's version of authority. Because see, with my mother fussed a lot. My dad did not.
That's right.
My dad could walk into the room and there's movement, and I do know what that means. So to be honest, there are times when I'm in the realm of dating as well. So I look for that. I look because a man should move the earth and ain't got to really move his mouth. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
absolutely.
There should be a presence about him and a confidence about him that he doesn't have to speak through nobody else.
That's
He
right.
speaks through himself. He speaks through his presence. He speaks through, you know what I'm saying, how he shows up. And so my dad, and it's interesting because half the time I didn't know my dad could talk low key. And I'm saying that to be funny. My dad, of course, ended up being the best conversationalist in my life, really. But in life, growing up, my dad used very little words. He didn't yell a lot. He didn't spank a lot. That wasn't always his go-to and his default. And so what I'm listening to and just being reminded of is, as a woman, we're trying to grasp the male's authoritative role
That's right.
through the lens of a woman, and we don't got it. And so
Mm-mm.
that's why we overextend with raising our voices and showing up in this way. And when I hear the word dysfunction, for some reason today, the way the Lord showed it to me is taking something out of its original functionality,
That's right.
right?
That's
So
right.
I'm designed as a woman to be this soft being, which is why I really love even just reading your bio, what you represent,
Mhm.
because I had to come to understand the beauty of my softness. And
That's right.
why is that? It's because like I've been forced to be masculine in some ways,
Yes.
and things like that, and having to be and navigate all this life alone and having to keep my head on the swivel because I got to be the guard for my household. And
That's right.
that partnership would afford me not to have to do alone and in the same manner, right? So
Absolutely.
in this dysfunction, we're taking our kids outside of the way God ordered us to be, essentially, and even for ourselves and so on and so forth. And so that's what I'm hearing when you're like, well, we are promoting dysfunction. Sometimes people think dysfunction is so exaggerated. Like dysfunction is, like, oh, everybody's alcoholics and doing drugs.
Right.
That's dysfunction. No, you teaching your son or trying to attempt to teach your son to be a man, but through the lens of a woman is also dysfunction.
That's right. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Very
It
true.
means what you think is small or not as impactful is actually major dysfunction. Because now here's what I know a man can do. He's going to be able to have that same masculine energy and show up with the emotions that he can consider that it's
Yes.
okay to have. And we're trying to teach him, like, okay, we don't want him to cry too much because that's my version of masculinity.
That's right.
Mhm.
We don't want him to do, and my understanding or my perception of masculinity, where a man
That's
will
right.
say, no, I'm not telling my son not to cry. I don't want him to cry over everything. And I want him to understand his tears. You know
That's
what I
right.
mean? He may give way to them differently and so on and so forth. He wants him to be mad, but I don't want you punching walls. I want
That's
you
right.
to. So we might teach suppression where he's going to empower another man is going to empower a young boy differently in moving and maneuvering through that masculinity. So anyway, let me shut up because I just love you, girl. I just love you. I just almost want to step the place for Austin right now, girl. Where's home for you?
So I live in Gulfport, Mississippi.
So where
Where are you?
I'm in South Haven.
Where that is, because guess what? I was going back and forth to Memphis all the time, teaching classes out there. It is a small world. That is so crazy.
If you in his neighborhood today, you're gonna be in my neighborhood in a couple of days.
Yes, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay, well then that's cool. I need to come on, look, do me a little drive because Gulfport, although I say it's not far, at least we in the same state.
Yeah,
But I
that's a hop, skip, and a jump, like we say down south. That's a hop, skip, and a jump, right?
Let's see it.
Yeah, look, I live in Gulfport. That's where I am.
Is it south of Gulfport? Is that south of Biloxi?
You know what? It's the small cities that's right along that border
Okay,
on the Gulf Coast.
okay.
Mhm.
I'm
Absolutely.
gonna have to come down and see you, girl.
Yeah, look, we don't have a whole bunch of industry, just gambling. So, we'll have to find something to do.
I
Yes.
know. Oh my God, this is good. Madonna, what do you wish more fathers understood about their absence in their son's development?
I wish fathers really understood that their absence causes a void in their sons.
Yeah.
I know sometimes women are toxic, or at least that's the word they like to use for some of the gamemanship that's played or the manipulations that's played in relationships, and so they walk away from their sons because they're walking away from that woman. But I think they have to understand that when you walk away from your son, you not only just cause an emotional breach, you leave a gap in their formation that they're always looking for identity. So anybody who steps in, whether it's a gangbanger, a drug dealer, a homosexual predator, or let me not say homosexuals. I don't want to offend anybody. A predator, anyone who comes and fills those gaps can make them into what they want them to be. And so men have to find a way to be able to navigate that relationship, even if they can't physically be present. When they go back in, they have to be accountable to their sons and work on healing that relationship because it's so needed. It doesn't matter if you form that relationship when they're 5 or if you form it when they're 55. Boys are looking for that validation. When we read the Bible, we see men were blessing their sons. Excuse me. So boys are looking for the blessings from their father. The gifting, the legacy of those men that's given to them by their fathers. It's not just DNA. And so it's so important that men understand that when they step aside from their sons, they're blocking the blessings that those boys need to get that comes in their lineage and their heritage.